Hello and welcome to Finextra. I'm Emily Horler and I'm here with Chris Hughes from EPAM. Thanks very much for joining me. What's the optimal path for private banks and wealth management firms to become more competitive, attractive for customers and increase revenue?
I think the critical thing that they need to focus on is to really understand who their customers are, who are their clients. And by that I mean it's sort of know your customer, but probably a lot more than they're used to doing in the market today. So it's not just a regulatory thing, it's actually really understanding what your customer enjoys, how they like to engage, their attitudes and behaviours. And by doing that, you're able to really start to paint a picture of the services that they may want to use. You're also able then to start to look at the services that are available and where they may be failing. And so within that, you're able to identify the challenges that a potential bank may have, but also the opportunities. And ultimately, by piecing them together with multiple client personas, you can start to establish what a future vision might be. And I think once we have an idea of the future, if we can predict that, but say 2020, and a thought based on client need, then we're able to really establish what a bank needs to do, both over the next 6 months, which we may consider to be just making themselves competitive. So perhaps some fairly simple things that they just don't have in place that some of their competitors do have, against maybe reviewing some existing products and services that we may need to change just to make sure that they are answering the needs of their clients. And then finally looking at some things that are really transformational, I would call them, and therefore really new products and services that are not in the market today. And by doing that, they're able to become competitive quite quickly. They're able to really start to review and establish what they need to do with their own existing services, but more importantly, create these new truly transformational services and therefore really position themselves well against their competition.
So how can technology help private banks create client loyalty that's stronger than a personal relationship?
So I think the key thing is that again, depending on what the client requires, depends on whether they may prefer a personal relationship. So technology augmentation's an interesting thing and something that we've been exploring with the work that we've been completing recently. It comes back again to this idea of really knowing your customer. It comes back to, do they want to use technology? Do they want to have face-to-face meetings? Do they want to mix? Do they want something else? And I think the key is that understanding the customer and understanding what it is that they need. What we have established is that by developing a profile of a customer and really understanding how they want to engage, but also the sorts of information they may want to receive, we're able to really start to look at aggregating different types of information, recognizing that they may want multiple CIO's views and not just the views of the banks that they may be using. They may want to bring in their peers' views. And so by understanding this and using technology, we can then start to augment a better experience, as it were, and probably more importantly allow the advisors and the managers to do their job, because they're not worrying about needing to produce monthly reports or annual reports. This should be done automatically through the services that they develop from a technical point of view.
So what will private and premier banking be able to deliver in the next 5 years that it can't today?
I think critically, a holistic experience. I think they need to start to look at or recognize that a client wants to have a single view of their wealth. So being able to show, as one button press, as it were, where am I today, what's happening? This can't happen today. A client's wealth is distributed across a number of places. So they need to really start to think about, we might describe it as open collaboration. So how do we work with other banks who may be considered as competitors, but actually from a client point of view, they're just part of their daily lives, and therefore they need to really start to think about how they can aggregate information, how they can augment relationships, and how they can really deliver a service and an experience to their clients that they want.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much.
No problem.
And thank you for watching.